Hi, good morning. So today I want to review an occult book, and the book I want to review is excuse me, is Runes by Baggott. Now this is the Norwegian edition. It has been translated into Norwegian, but it's the exact same book that you can get because the book is originally American. Though I'm not sure, but I think the American version is softcover, but I don't think the book is good enough that you actually need it to be hardcover, so that shouldn't be a problem. So yeah. Now, this book was the first book of runes I got, and I don't know, it works well enough, but there's not that much information in here. The book is only 64 pages with the index, and there is a lot of illustrations. You can see. Now, the biggest problem with this book is that it only works with 24 runes. It doesn't work with the blank rune at all. So my first rune set, which I made based on this book, doesn't have that. Now of course I could go back and just make a new one, but it doesn't feel right to add to that set because it is complete with its 24 pieces. Later rune sets I have added a blank rune, but that set sort of feels like a complete entity in its own with its 24 pieces, and I only use that when I use the system in this book. Now, the good thing, there are two very good things about this book, which makes it worth getting if you can find it cheap. One thing is that it gives you a lot of ideas on how to make runes. Various forms of methods you can use. See if I can find something of that. Yes. Like you see, you can paint on rocks, cut them from wood, and so on and so forth. And this, and how to cleanse them, and generally all of those things that you might need to make your own set, because it's definitely not difficult. You don't need to go to an expensive New Age store and buy runes. You can just as easily make them yourself. My first set is made from polymer clay, and which I just shaped into petals and cut the runes into them. And I then, when I were done, I painted the symbols with a mixture of black paint and my own blood, and I added varnish. Easy peasy. So yeah, and you can paint runes on you can burn it into wood. You can paint it on pebbles. You can buy those glass stones, you know, those little flat glass stones that you can use to decorate flower pots and stuff. And you can just paint runes on those. There are a million ways to cheaply make runes, and this book gives some ideas. Of course, since it's a very short book, it doesn't go into very much detail, but it has that chapter. It also have a pretty good section, let me see if I can find it, on various forms of rune layouts. I know that very many that use runes mostly use the 3 rune set, at least unless you are deeply into it. Then of course you do it more advanced, but this sort of prods the beginner to experiment a bit, and that is good. So yeah, it goes a bit into rune magic, but that chapter is pretty weak. It goes into some meditation with the runes, the meaning of the various runes, and so on, but each of those chapters are very short, and with 64 pages this isn't a very in-depth book. But those 2 chapters on making runes and various forms of rune layouts, those are good. The other chapters are, and I'm not completely sure if they are named the same in the English section and in the English version of this book, but they are Introduction, the History of Runes, Make Your Own Rune Set, Learn from the Runes, Ask the Runes for Advice, Interpretation of the Runes, the individual rune, the 3 rune spread, learn to use divination, the tree spread, so tree as in growing up off the ground, how to understand vague answers, make your own spread. Yeah, that's also a good section on how to custom your own spread, because very often both in runes and with tarot you need something which isn't pre-made. You need a special spread, or you need to make something that resonates more with you, and you can do that with this. Rune magic to help others. Tools and talismans. Tools and talismans is a sort of okay chapter. It's about how to add runes to various items to bring their power to them. It's an okay chapter, but again it's too short, and that's sort of like the whole song with this book. It's too short. Wishing ceremony with runes, it's okay. Runes and their meanings. Afterwards, and a register. Yeah. And a short note about the pictures in this book. They are pretty good. They're crisp, they're clear. I just think there are too many of them. It is these people that go again and go again and go again, and how they're using the runes, but I much less want to watch other people using the runes than learning how to do it myself. Here are some pictures of tools with runes on them. Note that picture showed up properly on the camera before. Yeah. You can find a few more. Yeah, it's here you have a good one. There's nothing wrong with the pictures themselves. There's just too many of them. In a book this small, but I guess it serves well enough as an introduction. That is my review of Runes by Baggott. There we have it. And would I recommend this? Well, because it's so short, it tries to do so much with too little pages and too many pictures. It lacks a rune, and it's very superficial. No, I wouldn't recommend it outright. If you can find it cheap, then the section on making runes is good. The section on the various rune layouts, where there are not that many, you have a section on how to make your own layouts and so on, it's good. And the wishing ceremony, it's an okay spell. So if you can find this book cheap, yeah, it might be of use to you. If not, then there are so many better books and runes out there. I have this one in my shelf because it means a lot of me to me because it was my first rune book. I would give this book 4 out of 10. And yeah, that's the review. Hope you have a great day, and blessed be.